Hey, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining
Hello,
us.
everyone.
Welcome. Welcome to the Bot Games Weekly Wrap-Up Week 4. Super excited to have all of you here. Laura, we good to get started? Let's bring
Yes,
up the
let's
slides.
go.
Yeah, let's take a look. So first off, thank you so much for all of you who have been participating in all of the Bot Games challenges this month. This is week 4, and our theme this week was on accounts payable. So thanks so much for joining and taking on some of those challenges. We're watching the chat, and we want to ask a question of you guys. Which Bot Wars RPA challenge was your favorite? So some of you already voted on LinkedIn, as you can see, and on Twitter,
Yeah,
but get in the chat. Tell us what your favorite challenge was. And
yes.
I want to hear from Laura as well. Laura, what was your favorite challenge?
Well, I must say my favorite one was this week's, just because we got the chance to work with IQBot, and I saw that a lot of people never actually had used it before. So getting the chance to try it out, see how you would do the challenge, and also the very cool article that we got from the IQBot best practices. I think that was awesome. It's a new thing for a lot of developers, and I'm really glad that you guys are enjoying it.
Very cool. So we have some votes in the chat here. Ronak
Week
says
three,
invoice processing. Asif
week three
says
again,
week 3. Yeah, invoice
invoice
processing again.
processing.
So I would say that my favorite was probably week 3, which was the human resources one. It was the one
Yes,
where you had to do the API call plus use the Windows Stick Client app. I
I
thought that
love
was a
that
fun
one too.
challenge. Yeah, and I like that that one specifically forced people to slow down. Week
Yes.
1 and 2, we saw some insanely fast times, so much that we had to like rewrite the timer midway through. But with week 3, it was a lot better. So we saw some people have to slow down there. The same was true for week 4. Not only was week 4 a little bit more challenging because of the invoice processing, right? A lot of people got
Yes.
to use IQBot for the first time, which was awesome to see. But it was also like the website was a little bit more tricky, right? You have to add
Yeah.
rows dynamically to add new data. You also have to submit a file. And that was two things that, happen in real bot building. So it was cool that we got to highlight those in that challenge.
Definitely. And I love that people know that IQBot is there for them to use in the community edition, but having that in the challenge actually made them, okay, now I'm going to use IQBot because this is the way to complete this challenge. So that was awesome. That was awesome.
Very cool. So this week in review, we're going to talk about the challenge page, tricks, tips, and lessons learned. We'll also highlight the hackathon. The hackathon is an ongoing event right now, also a part of Bot Games, so we'll talk about that. We'll talk about some of the non-challenge page content for this week. We'll do our shout outs, and then we'll just do a brief Bot Wars recap. Sound good?
Yes, let's go.
Lots of votes in the chat for week 4. I'm amazed.
Yeah,
I'm glad to
exactly.
see
I'm
that though.
seeing. Yeah, week 4, week 4, week 4, week 4.
Yeah.
And then we have
So
week 3.
So a really cool thing though that we saw, I saw quite a bit, right? A lot of people made a comment along the lines of, I'd read about IQBot, but I hadn't actually used it before, right? And so it was awesome to see people actually getting hands-on with IQBot in an environment where like, hey, you have to do invoice processing. So you're gonna have to extract some of this data and you're gonna have to use the data to fill out this form. So it was cool that we gave people an excuse to try it out. And hopefully people found that it was, more intuitive to use than you originally expected. I know that
Yeah.
when I first read about IQBot, I'm like, this sounds like it's going to be really tough to set up. And the reality is it's really not that hard, right? You go through, it coaches you through the process of like where to create
Yes.
groupings, how to find data on a page. And I know that this was the invoice processing one. So it's like IQBot's sweet spot. But even if you do custom forms in IQBot, it's really not that bad to set up, and it works the same way, right? You're going to get that data out in a way that you can hopefully make sense of it.
Yes, exactly.
So two key approaches that you could have taken for processing this one. Number one is with IQBot, you actually have the ability to process locally, or you have the ability to process on the IQBot server. Now, the difference is there is that if you process on the IQBot server, you're going to use the IQBot package. You'll upload your different invoices individually, so you have to loop through them all. And then you have that action that says download all. And anything that's complete already and successful, you'll be able to download at that point. And so that can kind of trip people up because I have to loop through, load up all these files. I have to keep track of how many files I uploaded. I then have to download them all. And they won't necessarily all be done in the first like 4 seconds of me being ready to run this. So you have to be a little bit creative in the way that you do that. And I posted some code. I think it was in a gentleman by the name of Jack. I posted one solution for that, right? And I showed a solution briefly in the tutorial. But basically the way that I would approach that is I'm going to continue to download those files from the IQBot server and check every 5 seconds and see, do I have the number of files downloaded locally that I expected? If not, I'll do a 5-second delay and continue with my next iteration of the loop. Once those 2 file counts match, I'll break out of the loop and I'm ready to move forward with, filling invoice details or something like that. Yes. The other approach to all of this is to do local processing. And with local processing, you probably noticed that the first time that you ran it, the bot run took a while, right? Because just like all of our other bot runs, it's going to cache that package locally in the global cache before it can be executed. The IQBot local processing is a little bit larger than the other packages. And so you saw that it took a long time to download them for the very first time. After that, it processes relatively quickly. And unlike the server-side processing, it happens all local, and that could be on a bot runner, or for us, it was on our local machines here. And it automatically will take all of the files in that folder to process them and create a success folder for you. So nothing's happening on the server. You don't have to worry about file counts. You don't have to worry about keep checking stuff. It's all going to happen locally. So I'm a big fan of the IQBot local processing. I think it also can help your organization as you start to use IQBot at scale and you start to think about like, hey, we've got like 50 bot runners that are available. We can now go through and process a ton of invoices or a ton of forms and federate that work out to all of those different bot runners instead of relying on, our 3-node cluster for IQBot server, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's a great way to get a ton of work done.
Definitely. And I'm seeing here in the chat, RPA September, hashtag RPA September and hashtag RPA all month. We're so happy that you guys are enjoying it.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. Yeah, great to hear you guys are enjoying it. So what is, I guess RPA April might work. I can't make any promises though.
RP 365 days.
Yeah, there you go. So the other big tips for this one is make sure that your column header for your group goes full width on the column. I saw some people, when you start to do the IQBot stuff, if your column header, specifically for the description in our example, was not the full width of that column, you might see that some characters get cut off or words because it's trying to determine like, where is there a logical separation in this text? And if your column width wasn't the full width of the actual column, then you might end up cutting some text where there's a natural separation in text, like a dash or something like that. So make sure to include that. I'd also say make sure to know when to press the add item button. And again, I did it this way because I wanted you to have to learn like when to press that, when not to, and situations, stuff like that. So the first time around, I don't want to click it, but every line item after that first one, I do want to click that. So you have to kind of manage that locally to make sure that you know what iteration you're on and if you have more than one line item for your form.
I think I've seen someone posting that, exactly that, like, hey guys, this is something you need to be mindful, and that's super helpful for the ones that are joining and completing the challenges that like arrived recently. So thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, that was awesome. So lessons learned for this one, we kind of touched on this already. IQBot isn't bad to pick up for first timers, right? If you're brand new to it, go through either the tutorial we just posted for this challenge. We also referenced a tutorial from John Stubbe, who's a training manager here at Automation Anywhere. Either of those are good resources to check out. The one that was the tutorial for this challenge, I did local processing. The one that was the tutorial John did was for server-side processing. So either one of those are good tutorials to go through if you want to learn how to do things both ways. Number 2, IQBot does a great job at finding the target data for extraction. And it's doing that through obviously a ton of logic that's been built into IQBot. But it's looking for those kind of relationships between data, right? So even though we had not necessarily standardized forms that we were using, right? It wasn't the exact same template every single time, but it's naturally trying to find those relationships between data. And that's because of the machine learning and the logic that's been built into IQBot and the pre-training that's been done, right? We're taking advantage of IQBot kind of pre-trained already on these invoices. So it knows what to expect. It knows what those field labels should be for the different data that we're trying to extract. Okay, IQBot Community Edition was at par to the enterprise one. Yeah, absolutely. We want you to have that full experience in IQBot, whether you're using Community Edition or enterprise.
Yeah, I also saw a comment in here in the chat that someone said that the challenges were very close to real use cases, and that's exactly it. We wanted to give you guys something that's close to what you might encounter in a client or working on some company. So that's really the point, and it's very, very close to a real use case. We are going to face legacy apps, APIs, endpoints, and that's a very cool way to train and get those challenges. It's so keep an eye out for the YouTube channel, because there's always new tutorials, cool tips and tricks, right, Micah, coming up on the YouTube channel.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've got more stuff on the way. I would also say that if you have ideas for stuff that you think would make a good challenge, let us know, right? We can try to build that out. We want these to be realistic of what you might face. Obviously, you know, everyone's got their own specific applications they use within their organization. We can't necessarily give everyone access to Salesforce or everyone access to some of their application. But as much as we can replicate the themes of some of those other applications or the themes of your process, we'd love to do that for realistic ones. Okay, so the other big thing I want to talk about that we have unfortunately missed a little bit in these wrap-ups is our hackathon. And the BotGames Hackathon has been going on the entire month of August, and it closes August 31st, which is next Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. And what the hackathon is basically you submit a project, you explain what that project is a little bit, you create like a short 1 to 3 minute video kind of explaining what it is, showing your bot running, showing how your project works. Obviously, you don't have to show the full thing end to end if your bot run takes like 5 minutes, but communicate your project and your solution and submit that before the 8/31 deadline. And we have $18,000 in cash and prizes that we'll be giving out to various people who might win or be honorable mentions for the hackathon. So all of the projects are due 8/31. We'll be going through the projects next week to review and kind of weed down to the top 5. Then we're going to have live presentations with our judges on the week of 9/6. And I think the specific date of that is 9/9 for our presentations. But we'll ask our top 5 individuals or top 5 teams to present to our panel of judges. And we have some really like impressive names on our judge list, both internally from Automation Anywhere, from our own executive leadership team, but also people outside of our organization. So it's going to be a really fun opportunity to get some visibility for some projects you're working on and show off some of the stuff that you're doing. The winners will then be announced on 9/13. So September 13th is a Monday. We'll be announcing all of the winners. You'll get your prizes thereafter. First prize is $5,000 USD cash. And then there's other prizes for second, third, and some honorable mention prizes as well. So even if you haven't started this yet and you still want to participate, sign up at DevPost. No, I'm sorry. It's botgames.devpost.com. We can put that in the chat. Gabe, if you have that link, let's put that in the chat for everyone, but it's botgames.devpost.com so that you can sign up for that. There's also a link on the dev portal on that landing page we've been using every day for BotGames. There's a link to it as well. But this is a great time, right? You've got basically this weekend plus Monday and Tuesday to get this done. We've seen so much awesome creativity and participation in BotGames through the challenges. I know that you guys are capable of doing this kind of stuff. So create something interesting, join up with a couple others or do it on your own. Create a fun, bot that you wanna share. The suggested theme is kind of like the return to normal or return to the new normal, return to work efforts. But really you can submit a bot on any theme. And as long as it's something that's interesting, impactful, There's a couple of different themes and suggestions of things that you can kind of follow along with, but
Yes.
super excited to see people who are sharing their solutions on this and find some other people to
Especially,
team up with. Yeah, it's a
yes,
great way
especially
to work
after
with others.
this whole month of training that you guys had. So 4 weeks of training. I think you guys are prepared to complete this hackathon and submit your bots. And yeah, search for hashtag BotGames or hashtag RPAgos on LinkedIn and ping some people, ask them to join your team. You don't have to do this alone, up to 4 people on your team. So definitely search for more people to connect. We see you guys doing that already, but remember that you can create your team, and hashtag BotGames and hashtag RPAgos is there for you on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. So for some of our non-challenge page content this week, I wanted to highlight this article from Prasad Krishna. It's very timely because it's on the topic of IQBot, and it's IQBot
awesome.
best practices. So Prasad has experience in delivering IQBot solutions into production environments, and he shared his 4 favorite knows. It was know your process, know your documents, know what you can reuse, and know when to say no, and then a bonus know of know the capabilities you have access to. So I would definitely check that out. It can help you to shortcut your path to a ROI using IQBot. He's got some really helpful tips there. If you have not implemented IQBot into production previously, this can be a great way to kind of learn some lessons without having to pay the price for them yourself.
That's awesome.
The other non-challenge page content went live today, and this was from developer evangelist Arjun Mehta, and it was about the file conversion package. And the file conversion package can be used to convert files between formats. And the big key here is that it enables you to use different types of packages, right? So I could get a CSV file, but convert that into an Excel file so that I could then use some of the Excel packages to manipulate or modify the data. It also allows me to reduce the size of files for storage. So if you've worked with color file formats and you're trying to store them, they can be 10 times the size of binary file formats. So if it's a text-based document, but it's saved as a color JPEG, you really don't need a color JPEG in that case. So consider converting that to a binary or a grayscale image and saving it that way. You can save storage space. It also allows you to create uneditable versions of files for distribution. So if I had a Word document that I had been working on, but I want to distribute it as a PDF, which is an uneditable format, I can do that, and I can obviously distribute that file and not worry about someone making changes to it or modifying the original or things like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Laura, have you used this package?
I have not used this package yet.
Letting me down. I love putting you on the spot with this kind of stuff just to see what you're going to say, and at least you're being honest.
I don't think I have used this package before. I don't think so. But what I usually do is working closely with clients. Sometimes we get the chance to say, hey, you're getting this file as an Excel, for instance. Can you export this as a CSV? So sometimes we get to do that directly on the source. So that's helpful. But if not, this is a great option to use, definitely.
So I wrote this one. If you like this package, tell me. If you don't like it, send a message to Arjun. No, I'm just kidding. You can tell me if you have problems with it. The code for it is all on GitHub. So if you want to see how it works or modify it or make changes or add different conversions, you can do that. All of that code is published on GitHub. So definitely take a look, check it out. All right, Laura, you want to do some shout outs?
Yes, I must say, loved to see Alec Baldwin on this meme for this week.
So
he's such a great actor, right?
This is from a movie called Glengarry Glen Ross, and it was about a high pressure sales environment. And their big thing was like always be closing. And so someone tries to take some coffee and he says, put that coffee down, coffee's for closers, because that guy wasn't a closer. So swag is for closers, and we're recognizing the people who are closers who completed all 4 challenges.
Yes, I must say I went on YouTube and I searched for closers, always be closing Alec Baldwin, and I got the chance to watch that specific piece of the movie. And I'm very fond of Alec Baldwin. I watched him on 30 Rock, I think that's it. So that's very cool. So these are the closers. So let's go. We have Aishwar Kalidas. We have Vishal Arora. We also have Havi Kumar, Alexander Tarasov, Asif Shaikh. I think I saw you on the chat here as well. Santana Krishnan. We also have Vayu Tham, Prasad Krishna, Anand Karn, Dinesh Kumar. Saw a lot of posts from Dinesh too. Shandam Pentapati, Bhaskara Patnik, and Rushi Singh, Niket Gai, Kimberly De Silva, Saransh Garg, and Hoshit Tembare. A lot of you, we also saw many more of you posting, so that's awesome. But these are a few of the closers. So congrats to all of you guys. You get the coffee from Alec Baldwin.
Very good. Yeah. And thanks, guys, so much for posting. I know we didn't get everyone who had completed all 4 of these. We were just trying to go through and grab as many as we could to list them on here. I know some of these people have been shouted out previously as well, but thank you so much for your consistent participation across all 4 weeks. It's been awesome to see people who are really dedicated to this and completing each of the challenges, sharing their feedback, sharing their lessons learned. That helps us to make these kind of events better for everyone in the future. So definitely appreciate that.
Awesome. There's Dinesh in the chat.
Let's shout out some certifications as well.
Yeah, so as per last week, this week again, we got more people completing their certifications, both for advanced and master. So congrats to all of you. Again, these are just a few of you. So we have for the advanced RPA professional, we have Georgios Kasids, we have Konstantinos Brelas, we also have Ahmed Albadelbaki, and Abhishek Uchaganokar from Integrative Systems. We have Matheus Andrade from Accenture. We have Nilander Alarcão from Piracanjuba, here from Brazil. We have Zain May from Nitio Infotech. Those are all new advanced certified professionals. So congrats to all of you. And now,
when you said that Brazilian name, was there a hand move that went with that? I might be seeing this on a delay.
There was, yeah, my family is Italian also. So we have like the Brazilian heat and the Italian hand gestures. I'm a very hand gestured person, so
all good.
From Brazil. And okay, so we have master professionals, and that's very cool because the master certification is a little bit up from the advanced. You have to do you have to build bots. So Ahmed Atef from First Gulf Solutions, Abhinav Gupta from Team Computers, and Karachik M from Tata Consultancy Services, and Mayur Patel from Magnatech Solutions. Super congrats to all of you guys that made to the master's certification. That's awesome, and happy automation. Good luck, and you know where to find us: LinkedIn, YouTube, anywhere really you can ask for help, and 8 people is there for you too. So let's keep connecting and keep building this amazing network of RPA developers.
Yeah, it's awesome to see in the chat people shouting out where they're from. We have lots of people in India. There was several from Brazil here, and Zayn, I think, is actually from the Philippines. So I haven't seen a ton of RPA developers from the Philippines. So shout out to her. That's an awesome accomplishment.
Yeah, and this is something that I'm very happy to read. Rafael says that these challenges were awesome. They helped him train and use tools he didn't know. And that really is the point. So we're very happy to see that you guys are getting the chance to use new ways, new approaches. As I'm sure you guys saw, there are many ways to complete a challenge, and you have to work around, see how each way give you the different results. It might be faster, better accuracy, and again, 100% accuracy is the #1 goal, and we're very happy to see all those green scores on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. All right, last slide here. For a Bot Wars recap, thank you all so much for not only joining our live sessions here, but also for your participation this entire month. I'll be honest that this whole thing kind of started with us being asked to do a hackathon, and I was like, hey, what if we try this other thing too? And I really didn't know exactly how this would go. I thought it would be really cool if we had 100 people who participated in this, but from some of the metrics we saw, it looks like we've had over 2,000 people who are doing several of these different challenges. So it's been
Awesome.
insanely cool to see that this has worked out as well as it has. And that's because of you guys, right? That's because of you guys responding. That's because of you doing the community building that's going on, right? Like you're sharing your solutions, you're talking about tips and tricks, you're getting engaged with people from Automation Anywhere, but also from other organizations to share the way that you've been doing it, share the way that you've been solving problems. So that's been super encouraging to see. It's also awesome to see so many new devs who have been posting on social, right? The people who we saw posting were not A-listers. They were not necessarily people who are like the top contributors on A-People. We're seeing a lot of brand new developers, like new to us developers, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
that's been awesome to see that we've got so many fresh faces, so many fresh voices. I think the coolest thing about that is that everyone has different backgrounds and training and education. And that diversity, I think, can make us all better in the way that we solve problems and the way that we think through solutions. And so super encouraged to see so many different people from so many different backgrounds participating in this stuff.
Exactly.
And then finally, I would say creativity in the problem solving was super surprising, right? When I went through and created these challenges, I would create a bot or two to solve them. And I'm like, these will probably work. We'll probably see these same bots quite a bit. But we actually saw so many different bots, so many different ways to solve these problems, so much creativity. It's been awesome to see. And so thanks to everyone who was sharing their solutions, sharing details about how they completed the challenges, things like that. It was really encouraging for us, and we definitely will be back to do this at some point in the future. And we'll take the things that we learned this time around and make it even better.
Definitely. I want to give a special shout out to everyone that shared your solutions in your posts, in your comments. I saw some people asking like, how did you do that? What was your approach? What packages did you use? And you guys were sharing and like giving advice and motivating others. So that is really amazing. And I think that's the whole point. Also learning new ways to do things using new packages, but also you can see how strong we can be together. And as a community, that is super, super cool to see. And I'm so glad to know that you guys enjoyed it. And I also have my t-shirt for championship, come to play. And we're looking forward to more challenges and more engagement and interactions with all of you. So thank you so much. This is awesome.
Very cool. Okay, well, with that, we will wrap it up. Thanks, guys, for joining. Appreciate it. Please make sure to participate in that hackathon. I'll be around this weekend to answer questions as they come up on the hackathon and stuff like that. We'll make sure we get people registered. There is a dedicated control room you can use for that, so you'll have access to create your bots and work with others and things like that. But we're excited to see the solutions that come out of the hackathon. And thanks so much for making BotGames great this year.
Yes, thank you, guys.
All right, awesome. Thanks, guys. We'll see you later.
Bye-bye.